Hello, good evening, and welcome to Weekend File. Nigerians once again went to the polls to elect governors and members of state houses of assembly. And worthy of note is the fact that governorship elections in 7 states where previously staggered elections and the issue of tenure altered the election timetable. They include Anambra, Ekiti, Osun, Ondo, Edo, Kogi, and Bayelsa states. Well, these are states that the election did not hold today, but elections into the state houses of assembly took place in all the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, where election into the Abuja area councils coincided with governorship and state houses of assembly elections. 14,580 candidates slugged it out in 991 state constituencies, while 1,066 governorship candidates in 29 states, of course, contested the election. Well, it's almost certain, reminiscing on the last elections, that's that of the presidential and National Assembly elections. Nigerians are certainly waiting for upsets and surprises. And so you are welcome to the program. My name is Kurian Umayo, and we will go into discussion immediately, because here I have the Deputy Director, Publicity, INEC, in the person of Ali Bello. Well, Ali Bello will, however, be joining us in a short while. For now, let's take some of the stories. President Muhammadu Buhari says he is not under any illusion that the People's Democratic Party and its candidate, Atiku Abubakar, will accept the will of Nigerians freely expressed through the ballot box in the last presidential election without a fight. The president was speaking on the matter for the first time after joining other eligible Nigerians from across the country to vote in the governorship and state assembly elections. State House correspondent Damusambo reports that the president, who exercises franchise in the ancient town of Daura, Katsina State, said the legal challenge by the PDP is not surprising.
Still basking in the euphoria of his re-election for another 4-year mandate to take Nigeria to the next level, President Muhammadu Buhari returned to his polling unit at Sarkin Yara Ward in Daura. This time to have a say as to who governs his home state of Katsina, as well as represent his council area and constituency in the state assembly. Along with his wife Aisha Buhari and other members of the first family, the president, armed with his PVC number 187, strictly followed the accreditation processes at Kofar Baru Unit 003 polling unit. With the cards verification and biometrics authentication over, the Nigerian leader received his ballot papers thumbprinted secretly and formally cast for candidates of his choice. A similar exercise was also performed by his wife Aisha Buhari at the polling unit under the watchful eyes of party agents, law enforcement officials and observers. Speaking to newsmen shortly after, President Muhammadu Buhari formally breaks his silence on the legal challenge instituted by the PDP and its candidate Atiku Abubakar against his re-election by the nation's voting populace.
I expect it to happen.
The president, however, expressed worry over the reported cases of violence in parts of the country in the build-up to the elections.
I will leave it to the law enforcement agencies, especially the police, because they have been meeting virtually on 48-hour basis to make sure they have identified the flash points, as you mentioned, wherever they are, and make arrangements that they counter it.
Some election observers spoken to described the conduct of the exercise as hitch-free.
What I observe is that here in Katsina and in the polling booth of the president is very orderly, well conducted, and the president came around 8 o'clock. After conducting his own election, he left, and the people are now voting, which is very organized.
It was well coordinated, even when the president came. It's violence-free, peaceful, and it started at exactly 8 o'clock. So we hope that will happen all over the country.
After every election, what we do is to review and see our performance. to see places of our strength and weaknesses. Where we have strength, we reinforce that. Where we have weaknesses, we address them. And you recall that we had the elections 2 weeks ago of the presidential and the National Assembly elections. And we reviewed and we saw areas where we had problems and we strengthened them. And this is one of them. That the capacity of our staff, the workings of the card readers, and the general performance of electoral duties. We record considerable improvement during these elections.
When President Muhammadu Buhari voted here at Kofar Baru polling unit a fortnight ago as candidate seeking re-election, almost 98% of the votes cast went to his party. Expectations are that such will be repeated in these governorship and state assembly elections. This is because for Darawa, as the people here are called, President Muhammadu Buhari is one personality in whom they are well pleased and will therefore do anything to show him love, goodwill and respect. From Dora, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigerians should continue to promote unity and peaceful coexistence to build a progressive nation. He said this at Victoria Garden City in Lagos after casting his ballot. Jide Onifade completes this report.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and his wife, Dolapo, cast their ballots few minutes after 10 in the morning. This would have taken place earlier, but for late arrival of the INEC officials, exactly the same way it happened during the presidential election a few weeks ago. And after voting, I had a brief interaction with the Vice President on what he expects from Nigerians.
One thing I'd like very, very much is for all of us to work together towards building a great country. I think we have all of what it takes to make this country truly great. And for me, the greatest gift would be all of us working together across tribes, across faiths, across, the entire nation coming together to work with President Buhari and the government to achieve the very best we can.
The turnout this time around at this polling unit, 003, is low when compared with what happened during the presidential election in the same place. This notwithstanding, the voting process was peaceful, free and fair. From the Victoria Garden City in Lagos, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Some major political actors in Lagos who exercised their franchise today for the governorship and state houses of assembly elections have commended the peaceful conduct of the process. Hingino John Adams reports.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Seamless counting of ballots at the various units across Lagos went on without interruption. One word best describes the governorship and House of Assembly elections: peaceful. Thank you very much. This scene from a polling unit in Ikoyi mirrors others like this one in Victoria Garden City, where the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and his wife, Dolapo, exercised their franchise. Just like the number 2 couple, other registered voters cast their ballots with ease. An observer would say too much ease. A fortnight ago, this election center was a beehive. The unusual tranquility played everywhere else. In Apapa, Lagos Island, and Surulere, voters showed up in trickles and did the needful swiftly, as there were little or no queues. Obalende had a bit of a crowd, but the turnout pales in comparison with the presidential and National Assembly elections. In terms of logistics and manpower, voters were impressed. Card readers functioned adequately and other sensitive materials were adequately provided.
Well, it's just that for the finger stuff, maybe it has to do with network, but they finally did it. They did what they are supposed to do.
The only drawback in the process was the delay in payment of ad hoc staff in a few areas, which was settled promptly.
I have an office, I have a name, I have a unit, and I work good. So every worker is entitled to his wages. It's a very busy. No, I can stand in that position that they will get what is due to them.
The governorship and House of Assembly elections in Lagos recorded no casualty. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakpoya, NTA News.
The PDP presidential candidate in the just concluded 2019 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, was among the hundreds of eligible voters that cast their ballots in Yola, Adamawa State. Ladi Bala tells us more.
It was a peaceful atmosphere generally in Yola. The weather condition was about 40 degrees Celsius, but the people were determined to express their will through the ballot for the governorship and state assembly election. And the PDP presidential candidate, Wazirin Adamawa, Atiku Abubakar, is not an exception. The PDP presidential candidate, after accreditation, cast his ballot to the candidates of his choice, and after which has this to say.
It requires, I think, the coming together of all Nigerians and also the leadership, to be able to redress, all the challenges that we faced in the last elections.
The FCT Minister, Mohammed Musa Bello, and Senator-elect Adamawa Central, Aishatu Ahmed Binani, also performed their civic responsibility at their respective polling unit and assessed the exercise this way.
You can see everybody has come out to do his or her civic responsibility. And I'm so pleased that as gradually as we continue to hold elections, democracy is going to take root in Nigeria.
Very orderly, and there is no problem. The only challenge that we have seen is the low turnout.
NTA News observed low turnout of voters in most of the polling units visited. In Yola, Ladibala, NTA News.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has described it as free and fair the governorship and state houses of assembly elections in all places he visited in Adamawa State. Abubakar Haman reports that the SGF was speaking shortly after casting his ballot at Guadabawa Ward in Yola North local government area.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Gida Mustafa, speaking to newsmen after casting his vote. The SGF, while monitoring some polling units in Yola North, Yola South and Fufore local government areas, described the turnout of people as encouraging, as all the polling units he visited, voters are conducting themselves in an orderly manner. Some eligible voters who spoke to NTA News expressed satisfaction of the exercise as election materials arrived polling units in good time. In Yola, Abubakar Hamman.
And the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, won in his polling unit 006 Oro Ward 2, Kwara State, as Anthony Folsom tells us. That story will be coming in the course of this bulletin. Governorship candidate in Akwa Ibom State, Obong Nsima Ekere, has cast his ballot in his polling unit. Imo Timodo brings us details.
It's the mayor unit, Ward 1, Unit 2, where the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Akwa Ibom State, Obong Nsima Ekere, just cast his ballot. We would love to find out from him his impression of the exercise. Your Excellency, you just voted.
Yes.
You did tell us.
Well, I arrived at the polling center and I went through the accreditation process very smoothly, I'll say, slightly delayed. It was better, more efficient during the presidential and national assembly elections, but today it was a little bit clumsy, I'll say. But eventually I got accredited and I voted. And looking around at the center, you can see that it's peaceful. Akwa people should be given an opportunity to vote freely for leaders of their choice without any outer violence whatsoever.
His Excellency came to cast his ballot alongside his wife, Mrs. Ekere. For now.
Electorate in Ogun State turned out in large numbers as the governorship and state houses of assembly elections was held across the state. Shegula Ole compiled the situation report as sent in by correspondents across the 3 senatorial districts of Ogun State.
As early as 8 in the morning, most polling units across Ogun State commenced the election process as scheduled. Governor Ibikunle Amosun joined other electorates at Itoko area of Avaikuta to cast their ballot.
The report I'm getting is that the turnout is slightly impressive, better than what happened the last time we voted. And I pray that everything will be like this throughout the period of voting.
While Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, Nigeria's former head of state, turned up for the election, where he also acknowledged the orderly conduct in the elections, former governor of the state, Olusegun Oshoba, voted at Ibara Housing Estate with similar observations.
I'm confident that everything will go well in Ogun State.
From Ogun East, Yemi Dalimo reports that the elections were peaceful and orderly in Ijebu Remo, Ijebu Ode, and Ijebu Igbo.
I've just done mine, so as far as that's concerned, at this polling unit, everything seems to have progressed well.
From Ogun West, Musa Toliat reports that the governorship candidate of the APM, Adekunle Akinlade, and his wife cast their ballot at Ikokia, while the governorship candidate of ADC, Goiga Nasir Isiaka, and his wife exercised their franchise at Imekwafon. In the meantime, collation of votes is on the way.
Former head of state and chairman, National Peace Committee, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has again made a passionate appeal to politicians to accept the outcome of the gubernatorial and Houses of Assembly elections in the interest of peace. General Abdulsalami Abubakar was speaking shortly after casting his ballot in company of his wife at the uphill water tank polling unit, Chanchaga local government area of Niger State. Dauda Mohammed reports.
Former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, was among those that came to exercise his civic responsibility alongside his family members. And this was what he had to say to politicians participating in the process.
So far, so good. I have seen that we are maintaining peace and order. We should continue. And also, when the result is announced, we should please accept. And also, we should, in celebrating the victory, we should take lesson for the presidential victory celebration where people lost their lives. And also the people who lost in their mourning, they should also take it as one of those expected results in the election. Not all are not winners, some lose, some win.
Now, voting in an election is considered a strong weapon that gives a common man an opportunity to install leaders at various levels of governance. Understanding her voting strength makes an 80-year-old Labi Abdi in Shanugu local government area of Kano State to take advantage of the just concluded election to test her will by casting her ballot. Muhammad Rabiu Ali caught up with this octogenarian at her polling unit.
Here with me is Habi Abdu, an 80-year-old woman, and she has exercised her civic rights where she cast her ballot. And we'd like to hear from her the situation so far. Baba gashi kingo kinzabe yaya yanayin zabe kike same shi.
Ban gane yanayin ba.
Yanayin zabe kin zabe lafiya ba hayaniya ba komai.
A'a ba lafiya lau. Ba abin da aka ce da ni.
Kin zabe ki lafiya?
Na yi lafiya na kalau. Lafiya lau ne zabe. Simil. Yanzu kuma gida zani. Gurin iyalina. Yawwa.
That has been Habi Abdu explaining that she has exercised her civic rights without any hitch. Many of women here are elderly, have queued, to exercise their franchise patiently. And security agents are also on ground to ensure hitch-free exercise of these governorship and state assembly elections.
Now, we'll take you back to the report on the casting of ballot by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed.
This polling unit is polling unit 6. As early as 7:30, 7:45, the INEC officials were on ground, ready to set the ball rolling. And from those who have spoken to so far, there has not been any problem.
It's very good. They follow it orderly.
There's no any problem. Everything goes smoothly.
I don't think there will be any problem.
These chiefs from Oro Town took upon themselves to move from one polling unit to another, ensuring that all goes well without any hitch.
We thank God it has been going on very smoothly. We don't envisage any problem here. We are very peaceful people.
As soon as the minister arrived, he went through the process of accreditation, which came out successful, with the card reader conspicuously displaying his photograph. He then proceeded to thumbprint before dropping the ballot paper in each of the boxes made available. The minister then spoke of his impression.
Well, you know, it's too early now to make a comparison between 2 weeks ago and today. But if anything, I think, well, it depends on the time you are voting. But I think the turnout here might, I'm not too sure, might be more than the one we had 2 weeks ago.
And to the people, he said,
they should vote, they should stay, be vigilant, ensure that votes are counted, and the umpires should please make sure that votes count.
From Oro Town in Kwara State, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And from Jigawa State, correspondent Abdullahi Garba Kudu reports of low turnout of voters compared to the February 23rd presidential and National Assembly elections, when the state emerged with the highest turnout of 55% all over the country.
Reports across the 27 local government areas of Jigawa State confirm that coalition is ongoing for both governorship and state assembly elections participated by 306 candidates before the final coalition of governorship election results in Duse. Electoral umpire INEC, security operatives and other stakeholders in the process have described the election in the state as peaceful and orderly.
In this polling unit, from both the party agents, the electorates and everything has been smooth, has been calm. Okay. And the process has been satisfactory.
The counting and sorting has been, going on very smoothly. No problem so far. Okay, nobody has raised any form of alarm.
Apart from the governorship seat, there are 30 state assembly constituencies being contested for in Jigawa State. From Duse, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, expresses satisfaction with the conduct of the elections, however, promised to deal with any perceived case of irregularity. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu said this in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Go to the polls. INEC Chairman goes to the Situation Room to ensure the voters are not stranded as he takes his seat to get the facts on the field, as TV stations give blow-by-blow account, and the ICT unit of the INEC also brief him with happenings at the various polling units, and where necessary, actions taken almost immediately. Done with the Situation Room, the INEC boss proceeded to the field to get first-hand information as he visits some polling units in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
So I commend the work of the staff of the commission and also I commend the work of the security agencies.
However, where perceived irregularities were noticed, INEC promised its mouth will not be muzzled.
So if we receive cogent and verifiable reports that approaches have been made to our collation officers, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission will liaise with the resident electoral commissioner for the state, and something urgent will be done about it. So we are confident we have our processes under control, and if anything happens, we have the capacity and the courage to deal with it.
Voting ended 2 p.m. official time. No extension like the presidential and the National Assembly elections. Sorting and counting successful. So, the nation awaits the announcement of results at the state levels. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
Now, the governorship and state houses of assembly polls were conducted under a smooth and peaceful atmosphere in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, as the electorate gave kudos to INEC and security agencies. Christy Anyagwa Adaji reports.
Voters comprising men and women were punctual to their respective polling units to participate in the governorship and state assembly elections, which is the last lap of the 2019 general elections. Speaking shortly after casting her ballots, the only female governorship candidate in the state, Senator Aisha Jummai Al-Hassan, has observed the low turnout of voters if compared to the presidential and National Assembly elections.
More women came out last time, at least at the time I came. But now there are still women, but not as much as last election.
The electorate, on their part, commended INEC and security agencies for the smooth and peaceful conduct of the polls.
As you can see, Mr. President has revolutionized the psyche of the average Nigerian voter, as well as the average Nigerian politician. Everything is now going very orderly and peaceful.
I could see women all around. So I just pray the subsequent election will beat their record.
As at the time of filing this report, sorting and counting of ballots have commenced in most of the polling units across the metropolis. In Jalingo, Christy Ayagwa Adaji, NTA News.
The national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, and the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, joined other voters to exercise their franchise in the House of Assembly election in Edo State. Goodluck Enaini reports.
Polling centers across the 192 wards in the state witnessed early arrival of both sensitive and non-sensitive materials brought in by INEC officials. Voters across the polling centers exercised their civic responsibilities in a peaceful atmosphere.
The situation has become and everywhere friendly.
The turnout was actually quite poor, I guess as a result of maybe voter apathy, but it was generally peaceful.
While the security personnel were on hand to ensure orderliness, officials of the EFCC were cited at some polling units to monitor the exercise and check vote buying and selling. The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Adams Oshomole, and the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, joined other voters in their respective polling units to cast their ballots.
I think INEC has made what I can call perfect arrangement. If anything goes wrong, it will be at the level of security.
The ballot boxes are already full. I guess what the difference here is that you have only one election today, so the process is much smoother and quicker.
At the time of filing this report, collation is ongoing in various polling units. In Benin, Goodluck Enaini, NTA News.
4 persons have been confirmed dead while 38 arrested in connection with the electoral violence in the Houses of Assembly elections in Kogi State. State Commissioner of Police Hakeem Aramide Busari confirmed the incident to correspondent Francis Udojo.
Though the exercise witnessed low turnout of voters, the police commissioner, in company of other security agencies, went round to monitor the election in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. However, the story changed at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when he confirmed that 4 persons were killed at Atuma and Ejegbo in Ankpa local government area as a result of violence.
I think we learned that 4 people died, but we are still trying to get the full report from the field.
The commissioner also confirmed that the Nigerian Army arrested 37 persons in connection with ballot box snatching. On reports of some unknown persons in police uniform taking part in the election, Commissioner Busari said investigation is on to unravel the identity of the imposters. Meanwhile, the resident electoral commissioner, Kogi State, Professor James Akpan, has condemned the disruption of some polling units in the state. From Lokoja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Security agents have arrested suspected fake military and police personnel, including other electoral offenders, during the 2019 governorship election in Imo State. Kinsley Ononiwu reports that the suspects were apprehended while trying to disrupt the election in Idato South local government area of the state.
This morning, 5 persons in T-shirt or no T-shirt with police color at both shoulders and a pickup with police emblem claiming to be police were sighted at the Okohia polling units, Idato South, and they called the attention of the DPO along with the soldiers. They were able to arrest the 5 of them, and they turned out to be fake police. At the same time again, at Umogom, by 12:00 hours, that is 12 noon, the attention of the police and the military was equally called to the presence of a Marine Navy, that is military, and they were all arrested. They equally turned out to be fake. All of them were conveyed by using the Green Maria from the prisons down to State CID by the SAS personnel and prison personnel, as we are all working as a team and as one a body to ensure that we have a credible, safe and secure elections in Imo State. The suspect at State CID.
And these were some of the reports from our correspondents who have been tracking the electoral process from across the nation. Now, time for a short break. When we return, there'll be more reports on the election coverage and, of course, the conversation that follows. This is Weekend File. Do stay with us.
Heartburn and indigestion can be tricky if you eat too much. Eat food that is too spicy or greasy, or lie down after eating. Heartburn and indigestion could always be around the corner. When they come, be prepared with Gaviscon Double Action. It works within 3 minutes and lasts up to 8 hours. Gaviscon Double Action. Many causes.
When I was a little girl, I loved spending time with Mum and Grandma cleaning the house. I was so excited to sing in the choir. And your shirts are always so white. I knew what Mum's secret was. Today, I'm a modern woman that still trusts the secrets passed down to me. It's Jik, of course. The original trusted bleach, which can be used all around your house for amazing results. Shh, it's our little secret. It's no secret. It's Jik's best ever extra whitening power. Just Jik it.
So, how do I look, guys? Aha! What?
I see what's wrong. The wall doesn't match your elegance.
Then we must do something about it right away.
At Royal Ceramics, we offer you a wide range of beautiful wall and floor tiles designed specially to fit your lifestyle.
So, what do you guys think?
Thank goodness we changed to Royal Ceramic tiles. Like mother, like daughter.
Royal Ceramics, finish in style.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
And you're welcome back. The governorship and state House of Assembly elections in Lagos was peaceful and devoid of hitches and skirmishes. The orderliness may be attributable to the low turnout of voters at polling units across Lagos. The findings by correspondents who covered the various local government areas of the state are harmonized in this report by Joy Ken Ababoya.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Seamless counting of ballots at the various units across Lagos went on without interruption. One word best describes the governorship and House of Assembly elections: peaceful. This scene from a polling unit in Ikoyi mirrors others like this one in Victoria Garden City, where the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, and his wife Dolapo exercised their franchise. Just like the number 2 couple, other registered voters cast their ballots with ease. An observer would say too much ease. A fortnight ago, this election center was a beehive. The unusual tranquility played everywhere else. In Apapa, Lagos Island, and Surulere, voters showed up in trickles and did the needful swiftly, as there were little or no queues. Obalende had a bit of a crowd, but the turnout pales in comparison with the presidential and National Assembly elections. In terms of logistics and manpower, voters were impressed. Card readers functioned adequately and other sensitive materials were adequately provided.
Well, it's just that for the finger stuff, maybe it has to do with network, but they finally did it. They did what they are supposed to do.
The only drawback in the process was the delay in payment of ad hoc staff in a few areas, which was settled promptly.
I have an office, I have a name, I have a unit, and I work business. So every workers is entitled to his wages. It's a very busy. So I can stand in that position that they will get what is due to them.
The governorship and House of Assembly elections in Lagos recorded no casualty. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakboya, NTA News.
The process of the governorship and Houses of Assembly elections is generally viewed to be transparent and peaceful, except for low turnout of eligible voters compared with the February 23rd 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections. This was the preliminary position of the Joint European Union, International Republican Institute, and the National Democratic Institute's observation missions 2019 election during their visit to selected polling units in some parts of Niger State. Timothy Yusuf reports.
First visited Chachi Polling Unit 001, Zuma West Ward, Tafa local government area of Niger State, where the process commenced at the stipulated time with accreditation and voting taking place simultaneously. Card reader machines were also observed to be working perfectly. Similar scenario played out at most of the polling units visited across Suleja local government area, where the conduct of election was generally described as orderly and peaceful, devoid of security personnel's interference.
It's totally different election, so perhaps it was more crowded for the presidential election and less crowded today, but I don't know, this is what I've seen.
We consider these elections extremely important for Nigeria's democracy. You know, this is democracy at the grassroots level, electing officials who can impact the lives of citizens at the grassroots level, and that's why we're here.
Political parties also need to do a better job at holding transparent and open primaries, at having greater internal party democracy.
The Joint International Republican Institute and National Democratic Institute's team also visited the Emir of Suleja, Muhammadu Awal Ibrahim, who briefed them that the election was generally peaceful as at the time of the visit.
These elections are more critical to us, and we're looking to our people to ensure they participate as well as they do, and as I said, hope and pray we will have a very peaceful conduct of elections this day and thereafter.
The joint RI and NDI observers are expected to make their report public on Monday, 11th of March 2019. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And you're watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. We'll take another break. We'll be back in a moment.
Helen!
Hey, where's your mom?
Today is her toilet day.
What?
Helen!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow you're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with all this, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible!
Challenge? New Ticker Harpic 10X. Even if you use this solution 10 times, it won't give you the same cleaning like Harpic, because its new Ticker formulation sticks to the bowl better, giving you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow!
New Harpic 10X
gives me the freedom from toilet day.
There comes a time when the journey in life takes you far away from the familiar.
No signal? Fix it. Auntie, I don't finish.
take picture for Instagram.
Don't you mean Instagram?
Instagram, Hingram. Now you know name. Now me get network where they work for this long road. Come the yellow side, make yourself for free enjoy overshot data.
Anywhere, anytime, data makes life better. Now you can get 1 gigabyte at 200 naira. The binge all day on Instagram just for you. Dial *406# to enjoy.
The Ariel Assurance Challenge.
Oh, thank you. But what assurance can you give our daughter?
Everything. With the new look Ariel, I can even do the laundry.
Prove it then.
Okay. Let's make this stain even tougher. Now, let's wash the cloth. With your detergent and with new look Ariel. Do you believe me now? Ariel, now in a new look pack.
Hey, big head. Sorry. Where are you?
I'm at the bus stop.
Okay, dinner is ready and mommy wants you to come home.
Okay, I'm coming as soon as I get the bus.
Here you go.
Madam.
That's it. Those nairas are enough.
Hi, dear. Helen! You got so much even after spending so little.
Savings is such a necessity.
You save everywhere, but here, you lose it all.
How?
With this?
Impossible.
New Tika Apic 10X. Even after applying up to 1 liter of your solution multiple times, you won't get the same cleaning that Apic gives you in a single round.
And the expense?
Far less compared to your 1 liter of solution. New Tika Apic. Tough in cleaning,
tough in savings.
And you're welcome back. Our guest tonight is the Deputy Director of Publicity, INEC, Aliyu Bello. Aliyu, good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Kirian, and my warm compliments to all our viewers, both nationally and internationally.
It does appear that many Nigerians are showing improvements on INEC this time around. But before you make comments on that, I'd like to get your own personal assessment of your outing today nationwide.
I may not have a different opinion other than the ones in the report. In fact, INEC has done very well. Polls open on time. This shows that election materials have been delivered quite on time and in every unit. So that was a good outing for this exercise.
All right. There are areas in certain states, where election materials were either destroyed or burnt by fire shortly before the election. How did INEC respond to that? And what happened to those areas?
Well, actually, it is a sad development, some of which have not been, you can say, is unforeseen. But one good thing with current commission is whenever there is an issue, an urgent and quick intervention is always there to promptly respond to the situation and ensure that polls are successful. But in instances where you find violence, for instance, quite unfortunate, having to experience a few, even us, at this age of the electoral practice. But one good thing actually is, in those cases where incidents of fire happened, particularly the ones in Akwa Ibom, which happened just a day to the elections, the Commission actually mopped up and mobilized materials to ensure that those materials that have been gutted by fire are placed to ensure the conduct of the elections in that area where the incident happened. And in Adamawa, you remember, a candidate passed on just on the eve of elections. And that actually the Commission took a decision and appoint a date for the conduct of that election in that constituency, which will happen on the 23rd of this March 2019.
Now let me take you back to the Akwa Ibom incident, where about 93 card readers were destroyed. How did you replace that within 24 hours?
Well, actually what happened is the commission looked around the states, neighboring states in that region, to mop up some of the redundancy ballot paper, card readers, to ensure the supply of those that have been gutted by fire is replaced. And actually that is what made the commission, what gave the commission the opportunity to proceed with the elections.
Were they reconfigured before they are used? Because they were not originally designated to the area in question.
If they have not been reconfigured, they wouldn't have worked.
Well,
so it is automatic that we expect the configuration to have happened before the polls.
Okay. Now, we heard about cancellations of election in some areas, in some states, perhaps some local government areas. In states. What was actually the matter? Why cancel? And if cancelled, are they going to be ballot casting there in the future?
There could be 1,001 reasons why some decisions like that has to be taken, and most of which are taken right at the polling unit level. Certain decisions that have to do with electoral violence or ballot box snatching or overvoting, these are legitimate reasons for commission to take such decisions, and most of which happened at polling unit level. So while such happened, I think the commission is no longer held responsible for the actions or inactions which was not caused by its own officials. But in the case where some supply was not made, like the ballot papers, if at all it happened in this election, we didn't have to report like that, and something like the smart card reader failure and the rest of them. In the previous election, which took place on the 23rd of February, you remember, some ballot papers, some card readers were actually provided, and elections took place the second day. That was on Sunday. But in this one, we are still filing reports and receiving reports from states, and I doubt if there was any report which may necessitate having the elections on Sunday. But as I said, we are still getting reports. It depends on whichever information we receive from the states, local governments, or the polling units.
Well, yes, you have been commended, by many Nigerians, who actually exercise their franchise today, perhaps because of the cordiality and, the smooth process, witnessed by many electorate. Now, what are your challenges in this election? Because, well, after all said and done, there must be some challenges here and there, that you wouldn't have loved to occur in the first place.
Kiran, if I should tell you, what happened in the previous election was enough reason for the commission to learn a lot of lessons. And that was perhaps why you would record that this current election witnessed fewer challenges. This does not mean that we did not experience any of such challenges, because elections are organized by human and for human beings. And no matter how hard you plan, how hard you try, one or two things you may not foresee could come in. And just like you said, the fire incidents, the electoral violence are quite challenges that the commission never foresee. But when such happened, there is always a backup to ensure that the polls, the exercise is conducted.
Now, Nigerians are anxiously waiting for the results of this election. So when are we hoping to start having the results?
The Commission at national level is also relying on states for that.
So elections will be announced at state level?
The declaration is always made at various constituency levels. Like the state constituency, state assembly elections, the results will be declared at that various constituency levels. Likewise, the governorship elections will be declared in the respective states. So the Commission at national level is also relying on state offices for the outcome of the exercise.
So, well, from all indications, when are we expecting them? Later today, tomorrow, or what have you? Because, of course, I believe you're receiving reports from your officials in different states of the Federation updating you on their activities in those areas. So, what have you been hearing, and how soon do you think Nigerians will begin to hear these results?
You and I are quite optimistic that it will not take longer time. So we expect certain results to start coming in by tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, and I believe majority will start coming into law.
Well, in the last election, that's the Presidential National Assembly election, we had this issue of collation centers being besieged by hoodlums and some political thugs. So did you hear anything of that nature this time around? Because perhaps people said, look, it has shifted from polling units to collation centers, which of what is where we can describe as a nucleus, of INEC before the election.
It's quite unfortunate that some of the commission's formation are becoming targets of attack, like polling units, collation centers, which ought not to have been. But in any case, if such happens, it's quite unfortunate. We expect a better understanding of the process by citizenry, a better participation by all stakeholders, so that there's no reason to attack poll officials or collation centers for some other reasons. Because by doing that, no one is helping himself. Because the commission would always work out that issue of margin of lead whenever such things happen. After all, there are also provisions to reconstruct results if it's already announced. And should something happen before collation, the opportunity is also there for commission to reconstruct the results and get back to the original figures. And a lot of information, a lot of training has gone into this process, and I believe those officials that are actually managing the polls at various levels have adequate knowledge and information on how to manage the process most effectively, most professionally, for satisfactory conduct of the exercise, so that by the time we are through with this exercise, I'm sure Nigerians will give a rousing applause to the commission.
Okay, now finally, how would you call the electorate, who actually came out to, queue up, follow the process, and voted? How would you rate them?
Well, generally Nigerians have done well by complying to the basic procedure, basic rules of turning up at 8 a.m. to patiently wait until you vote and go. And one good thing about the whole process is also the review of the election procedure itself, whereby a voter can come, get accredited and vote and go. That one actually added a lot of value and made the exercise less stressful. However, we will not forget that whenever you conduct an exercise, the stakeholders that participated, the voters, the politicians, the candidates, everybody that participated, including the security, have done very wonderfully well in this exercise.
All right, at this point, I would like to thank you. Thank you immensely for coming here to, of course, update us on the elections. Thank you. I have been speaking with the Deputy Director of Publicity of INEC and the person of Ali Bello. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Gary.
You're still watching Weekend File, and sports is next.
Team huddle.
But we lost.
Don't be tired, guys. This isn't a loss. It's a practice for winning.
Nothing makes a mother prouder than seeing her child growing up. But I know as he learns to lead, he'll face even more dirt, germs, and risk of illness.
That's why in changing seasons, you need strong Dettol protection. Because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
National Olympic Committee hails President Buhari's re-election as Nigeria set to face Libya in Africa's Under-23 Nations Cup qualifiers. Kenema Borike has details on Sports Update.